welcome back to All About That Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about that Disney life. The next movie we move on to is Angels in the Outfield, which came out in 1994. So let's get to know this cast, shall we? Danny Glover was George Knox. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was Roger Bauman. Brenda Fricker was Maggie Nelson. Tony Danza was Mel Clark. Christopher Lloyd was Al the Boss Angel. Ben Johnson was Hank Murphy. Joy O. Sanders was Ranch Wilder. Milton Davis Jr. was JP. Taylor Negrin was David Montague. Tony Longo was Trisket Mesmer. Neil McDonough was Whit Bass. Stoney Jackson was Ray Mitchell. Adrian Brody was Danny Hammerling. Tim Conlon was Wally. Matthew McConaughey was Ben Williams. Israel Jubri was Jose Martinez. Albert Garcia was Pablo Garcia. Dermot Mulrooney was Mr. Bowman. Robert Clohessy was Frank Gates. Danny Walkoff was Marvin. Obie Babs was Mapal. Mitchell Page was Abascal. Carney Langsford was Kit, Hit or Die Kessie. Bill Deere was the Blue Jays manager. Mark Cole was Norton. Jeff Seberg was the popcorn vendor. And Jonathan Proby was Miguel Scott. Now we move on to the facts all about real-life Angels playing baseball. Number 1, the production. In July of 1993, Caravan Pictures reached an agreement with director William Deere to remake MGM's 1951 baseball movie Angels in the Outfield. It was written by Holly Goldberg Sloan. This version focuses on the California Angels, which didn't exist when the original movie came out. The Walt Disney Company was a minority owner of the Angels at the time. Number 2, the premiere. It premiered at the Pirates' home stadium at the time at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. It would be the only reference to the Pirates due to both teams playing in separate leagues. The Angels were in the American League and the Pirates were in the National League, and the movie being released 3 years later before the start of interleague play. Number 3, the box office. This movie opened at number 4 at the North American box office. It made over $8 million in its opening weekend, and it made $50.2 million at the box office domestically. Number 4, awards and nominations. At the Saturn Awards, this movie was nominated for Best Fantasy Film, but it lost to Forrest Gump. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was nominated for Best Performance by a Younger Actor, but he lost to Kristen Dunst for Interview with a Vampire. This movie was also nominated for Best Director, but James Cameron won for True Lies. At the Young Artist Awards, Milton Davis Jr. was nominated for Best Performance by an Actor Under 10 in a Motion Picture, but he lost to Haley Joel Osment for Forrest Gump. At the Young Star Awards, Joseph Gordon-Levitt won for Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Comedy Film. Number 5, bonus facts. 2 years after the movie's release, the Walt Disney Company bought the Angels and owned the team until 2003. The character Hank Murphy is loosely based on owner, actor, and country music star Gene Autry. Autry passed away in October of 1998, and when the Anaheim Angels won the 2002 World Series, they dedicated their win to him. 8 years later, after the movie's release, the Angels won both the franchise's first AL pennant and World Series championship in 2002. Carney Langsford, who plays Kit, Hit or Die Kessie, was a baseball player in real life who played for the California Angels from 1978 till 1980. The film's tagline, "You Gotta Believe," was coined by pitcher Tug McGraw. During the 1973 season, McGraw used the phrase to encourage his fellow New York Mets, who successfully turned around an underdog season to go on to win the World Series. He also used the tagline during the 1980 season for the Philadelphia Phillies, who went on to win the World Series. The movie was filmed at the Oakland Coliseum, which at the time was the last multi-purpose stadium in existence due to the fact that the NFL season was taking place and the Los Angeles Rams was using the stadium in Anaheim. Even though it was filmed at Oakland Coliseum, it was decided to make the outfield walls blue, which is the correct color for the Angels at the time at Anaheim Stadium. But the production has the Angels use the first base dugout. That is wrong because the California Angels always use the third base dugout. Leslie Nielsen was the first choice for the role of Head Angel Al, but he was busy with Naked Gun 33 1/3, The Final Insult. After Tony Danza signed on, he persuaded Christopher Lloyd to take on the role of Al because Tony and Christopher were in the hit 80s TV show Taxi. It's stated early in the movie that Tony Danza's character Mel Clark hadn't played due to his shoulder that was injured. In the TV show Who's the Boss, which Tony Danza starred in, his character Tony Maselli ironically was a retired MLB player who was forced to retire due to a shoulder injury. This is Matthew McConaughey's only Disney movie. And this movie was released in theaters 1 month before the players' strike, which canceled the postseason and the 1994 World Series. And there you have it, all the facts about Angels in the Outfield. If you like this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to leave a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you have a zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.